My stepdaughter Gina asked me a question yesterday, which I think would terrify just about any American parent out there. She asked, "How many provinces in Canada can you name?" I think I came up with 4, and I was horribly embarrassed. Our topic this week: what is your most embarrassing confession as an American? In essence, TV show, type of food, etc. I've always felt with embarrassment that there is a responsibility on the part of the embarrassed party. Certainly there are things that we ought to be embarrassed over. Unfortunately, not everybody is. But as with the emotion of being ashamed, you can't shame somebody over something that they're not ashamed of. And so I've always felt that in being embarrassed, the embarrassed person needs to accept the embarrassment. I love my country. I love America, but as with any title or banner that you allow yourself to be put under, if there's somebody else under that title or banner who does things that you find horribly embarrassing, later when people find out that you are under that title, you feel the need to apologize for that behavior. I'm certainly embarrassed by our treatment of the native people in this country. I'm embarrassed by our treatment of the African people and the subsequent African Americans. I am embarrassed by our prison industrial complex that has sort of become a new form of slavery. I am embarrassed by what we've done to the concept of democracy, which, as Gore Vidal said, is kind of just devolved into a militarized republic rather than any form of democracy. And while I believe in the concept of a just war, I'm not convinced that we've had one in my lifetime. And while I try and keep my voice down in public and I ride a bicycle with fenders, there are still a few embarrassing American things about me. I've compiled a list of 6 of them, 3 of which I'm trying to work on, 2 of which I have no intention of working on because I'm not particularly embarrassed by them, and 1 wild card. Ethnocentrism. As I mentioned at the beginning, I find myself embarrassed at my lack of knowledge of the rest of the world. I try really hard, I feel like, to be informed about the world around me, to be a good global citizen. But we are such a narcissistic country. Our media is so consumed with reporting about ourselves that you often find stories of very important things going on in other countries, and you think, how long has this been going on? And I feel like I try really hard. But I still fall short in a lot of ways, as evidence in the story at the beginning of this video. I know it's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype that we've earned. I've lost about 30 pounds since Christmas from riding my bike, changing my diet, and having stomach problems. But I do still have this residual love of Tootsie Pops. Paranoia. Don't try and deny it. We are a paranoid people. Paranoia specifically over health. And we're also an extremely health-focused nation. I think because of the factors that guide our economy, the drug companies are such a gargantuan force in our economy. They pump us full of this fear over our health and then sell us drugs. And in all seriousness, this is something that I genuinely struggle with. I have this sort of maniacal panic about my health, and it's seriously not healthy. It's a crippling problem, to be honest with you. It's something that I am desperately trying to get a handle on, but I have a huge amount of paranoia and anxiety about my health. One thing that I am embarrassed of in America is our television programming. I become extremely snarky whenever anybody has the television on. We own a television, but it's hooked up to the DVD player, and we pretty much only watch movies that we find at the library when they're not too scratched up to watch. And we do watch a few TV shows on DVD. Most of them are classic TV shows. A few of them are contemporary and have Stephen Fry in them. But one exception to that some people might think is a guilty pleasure, but I don't feel guilty over, is Project Runway. As most people know who know me, I love that show. I love it unabashedly. I don't feel ashamed at all about it. I don't like Aaron Copland's music. I do like Aaron Copland's book, What to Listen For in Music, which is a great first text for music appreciation. But there's this contingent that has taken over the airwaves of so many classical music stations that feel that good contemporary, serious composed music should be cinematic. I do like Bernard Herrmann, but I don't like this whole everything needs to sound like it came from a film or did come from a film, and that's what serious composed music is today. I'm not a fan. I have a love-hate relationship with my lawn. We have these things around houses, for those of us lucky enough to live in houses in this country, of patches of grass. And on my side yard, we have an olive tree. And the acidity from the olive tree precludes any grass from growing on that whole side of the yard pretty much. And around me, all these people have really nice lawns, and I pump all of this water onto the ground. Just goes down the drain, and these unnatural things that we've surrounded our houses with. Lori and I have talked for years that if a sack of money ever falls and hits us on the head, that we would take out all of the grass and put in some different kind of ground cover out there, something nice. But I've never really understood the lawn. It's something that is ubiquitous. I don't get it. Things that embarrass me about being an American. Ta-ta.